Feedback is the greatest gift you can offer to the people you manage. Why? Because it's one of the best ways that you, as their manager, can help them to grow and become better at their jobs. Hey, how's it going? This is Scruffy Leadership, a YouTube channel about management and leadership aimed particularly at software engineers. My name's Ben, and I've been a leader and a manager in the tech industry in the UK and the US for over 25 years. Before that, I was a software engineer, so I've made the transition from being an engineer to being a manager myself and have also helped dozens of other people do it successfully. In this video, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to give feedback that will help make your team more effective. Tip 1, be clear. If you only remember one tip from this video, let it be this one. The worst thing you can do when giving feedback is to be unclear. And yet it happens all the time, particularly when the feedback is kind of negative. We hedge the feedback, we sandwich it in between nice things, we downplay it, or we act as if it's something we've heard but don't really agree with. None of that's helpful because in each case we're being unclear. And the result of that unclarity is that people come away not really sure what they've just heard and even less sure what they should do about it or if they should do anything at all. So make it your top priority when you're giving feedback to be clear. That might mean saying something that you're a bit uncomfortable saying, and it might mean saying it more than once to make sure it really sinks in. None of this is to say you shouldn't be kind and empathetic. Clarity doesn't imply blunt brutality. But if your tone of voice is apologetic or you bury your feedback in a load of other stuff, it'll undermine the point you're making. So say it like you mean it, say it like it matters, but tip number 2, make clear how you will help with the feedback. If you tell someone that their communication skills aren't good enough, for example, and then you say, see you later, they're left feeling like you've just dumped something on them and then you're leaving them to sink or swim. Instead, offer support. It may be, in some cases, that you know exactly what form that support takes, in which case, say so. Or maybe you have no idea, in which case you can just offer your support in general. Let me know what I can do to help you. You're not offering to solve the problem for them, but you are offering to support them as they grow, to be there to act as a guide and a mentor when they need you. A problem shared is a problem halved and all that. Tip 3, be timely and specific. One of the worst ways to give feedback is to be untimely and general. I have a feeling you could be a bit more positive in your contributions in meetings, for example. If you don't have more detail to offer, the person receiving that feedback is left knowing barely more than they knew before you gave it to them. It's much better to be precise and timely. So you might say, in that stand-up this morning, I noticed you were playing on your phone while everyone was giving an update. And then to really make it as effective as possible, you tell them why that's a problem, what impact this had. You were playing on your phone, which means you might be missing important details from teammates, but also it gives the impression to your teammates that you don't really care about them or their work. This is often known as the SBI framework, situation, behavior, impact. You refer to a specific situation, you describe the person's behavior in that situation, and you explain what impact it had. Notice also how objective this makes things. It's no more, I have a feeling you could be blah, 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 but rather, I noticed this specific thing in this specific instance, and here's why that matters. Tip 4, make feedback a habit. It shouldn't just be a habit for you, it should be a habit for all of your team, part of the culture. Giving feedback can be scary and receiving feedback can be painful, but the more you give it and the more you receive it, the easier it becomes and the more effective too. So don't wait until something bad happens. Make it a habit to highlight the good things. There's this idea that you should wrap your negative feedback up into a sandwich. You've probably heard about that. You put the nice stuff on the outside and the not so nice stuff in the middle. This is a terrible idea usually because it undermines the clarity of the feedback. Much better is if the last 5 pieces of feedback you've given someone were positive. Great job on that presentation. I love how you made the options for the architecture so clear. And then when you have something a bit tougher to deliver, they know already that you appreciate them and their work, and that this feedback is being given with the intent of helping them, not just to make them feel bad. Notice, by the way, that we say give feedback. Feedback is a gift. It's something you give someone to help them grow. You should think about it like that when you're giving feedback as well as when you're receiving feedback. And by the way, receiving feedback is easy. Just say thank you. Tip 5, the final tip. Actually give the feedback. I said number 1 being clear was the most important tip, but in reality this is the most important one. I saved it till last so that people who stopped watching the video would miss out. It sounds obvious, right? But if you don't give the feedback at all, then none of the advice I've given in this video is going to make any difference. And if you don't give feedback, you're not doing your job as a manager. Yeah, I really mean that. You can be doing all the other stuff amazingly well, but if you're not giving your reports any feedback, following the tips that I've given in this video, then you're failing in your job as a manager. And why does that happen? Well, I think there's 2 main categories of reasons: fear and ignorance. Fear is the big one, and it's a tough one. How do you feel about the idea of giving someone you manage difficult feedback? I bet the thought of it gets your heartbeat going up at least a little, right? It's a scary thing, unless you're a sociopath, perhaps. Anyway, the point is that a lot of times people don't give feedback because they're afraid of how the recipient of the feedback will react. They're afraid of having a difficult conversation. They're afraid of having to justify themselves to someone who they've maybe learned can be a bit inclined to overreact to things and take them a bit personally. There's no magic solution to this other than just doing it. It's not really a choice. If you become aware of something that's affecting one of your report's performance, you have to talk to them about it. Start from there and figure out the best way to have the conversation. Don't start from, is now the right time? Maybe I should wait till I'm really sure, because if you do, you'll never give that feedback. And then the other reason managers don't give feedback is ignorance. If you don't know what your reports are doing and how they're doing it, you can't give them feedback. This doesn't mean you have to observe everything they do, but it does mean that if you don't work closely with them, you need to find other ways to get that visibility. And I hope it goes without saying, but you need to do that transparently, not secretly. Avoiding giving feedback is one of the things I most often see new managers get wrong. If you want to hear about the other things you're probably getting wrong as a manager, check out this video here. And if you found the tips in this video useful, please subscribe to the channel. I have lots more useful insights to share. And if you really found it useful, consider hitting the like button, which helps this video to reach more people like you that are looking for advice on becoming a better manager. Bye. See you soon.